So welcome everybody to Unleash with me, Michael and Malcolm. There's a lot to go around. I don't even know
Oh,
where you guys want
God.
to begin. Who wants to begin? I mean,
Hey,
Malcolm. I mean, you're
Well, I think
no,
you're
I've been
always
on the road.
Malcolm's always on the go somewhere. Like he's
I've
always
been on
like
the road for 2 hours in the Adirondacks, which means like 500 things have happened that I have no clue on. So brief us.
Well, every day you wake up and every day there's chaos in this administration.
Hey,
Malcolm, as the spy amongst us, I really want to sort of get your take. Pete Hegseth, as I wrote in my Substack today, Hegseth failed Trump. Now comes the punishment. All right. My subtitle: Trump doesn't just fire people; he obliterates them. Pete Hegseth broke the first cardinal rule of survival in Trump world. You never make the boss look weak or irrelevant. And that's what he did with the pause in terms of the defensive rockets that were heading to Ukraine.
Right.
Your thoughts?
Well, that's interesting because as I understand it, this is the second time he's done that. It's not 4. You mean I remember the one in late January, early February.
Trump did 4 times. Hegseth did 4
Right.
times.
I mean, Hegseth just did it in late January. He just did it. He just did it because he thought.
I'm gonna treat Lev for a second,
Like they used to do
on Sesame Street.
Drinking.
On Sesame Street. 4 is the magic number 4. All right. Number one, the complete and total embarrassment with the alcohol and the sexual.
No, I thought you were talking about.
Hold on, number 2. Number 2,
about weapons, right? I thought you were talking about
weapons. Right.
Signalgate
number 1.
That was the big forgiveness.
Number 2, right? And now along comes this pause. I truly believe that Trump had no idea. But I want to get Malcolm's take first, and then, Lev, I'm going to let you push back.
Okay. Yeah, because there was a pause in late January that Hegseth did without orders. He just did it because he thought it would please Trump, and a week later it was reinstated. This time, it's you guys made it clear to me that half the time these people are they don't work. They just look around for ways to please Trump. And I don't know whether Hegseth's drinking. I don't know whether he just feels full of himself because he's, this is a guy who's, as Secretary of Defense, thinks that it's his day job to go do push-ups with soldiers at 6 a.m. and then hunt for spies in the Defense Department for the rest of the day, completely mismanaging a $1 trillion organization. And I don't know whether he just thinks that he's, this is another thing he thought would please the boss by coming out and saying, hey, we've got all these Patriot missiles. We gave a bunch to the Israelis. We gave a bunch to the Saudis. We don't have enough for our own armed forces inventory. Whereas the Department of Defense studies were like, yeah, we have plenty for our inventory, which blindsided Trump, right?
Yeah.
This is the second time he's done this specific thing of cutting off weapons without notifying the boss.
Let me just say that his tenure so far, Lev, has been a flaming pile of dysfunction.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's without 100%. But this is where I got pushed back a little bit on you guys and give you a little bit what's really happening. The first time, Malcolm, agree 100%. That was more wanted to please him, got caught. They reassessed 100. Here it's a little bit different. Right now, what it's being used for, because you got to understand, first of all, let's go back to when this really happened. They held back the weapons that were in Poland, which I broke on my Substack before any of the media a week ago. He did that 2 hours when I wrote in my Substack, literally right before he called Vladimir Putin, he held back the weapons before they had that conversation that they had. So the media is only now reporting on it because just like there's leaks, there's also intentional leaks. There's also intentional ways to throw the bone off and take the heat. And with that said, I'm going to say to you that from what I'm hearing is definitely Trump knew about it. This was all part of, just like you see what's happening right now. It's a distraction, just like Trump. I'll give you a better one. Trump said that he reversed it, and now they have that press release that they're bringing weapons back. What weapons? When is that coming? It's just conversation. It's fluff. Today, we had one of the biggest attacks again on Ukraine. That
Right.
was Ukraine. Kiev was decimated, and it's happening every day more and more. When the reporters asked Trump even yesterday what's going on with the sanctions, instead of talking about the sanctions that he lifted off of Russian banks, there he's talking about that maybe I could put sanction on. But the interesting part, even about the sanctions, because that what's being drafted in the Senate right now by Lindsey Graham and them, he's having them redrafted to make sure that he has full control of adding the sanctions, lifting the sanctions, fine tuning it. So that bill. So this is all play and fluff to be able to, in the meantime, love Vladimir Putin, because look what's happening in the background. Vladimir Putin has amassed over 50,000 troops on the Sunni border. Vladimir Putin is attacking Ukraine every day, harder and harder. Every day I write on my Substack, I say, you can't get any harder, it gets harder. People are dying every day. And not only that, but although Donald Trump is playing that, oh, we'll give him weapons, we'll take away weapons, we'll give him weapons. These aren't even weapons to go attack Russia. We're talking about Patriot defense to be able to
Right.
save lives. Donald Trump's not giving Ukraine weapons to attack, guys. This is what the media. This is why I'm saying to you, the media makes it seem, oh, Donald Trump is giving Ukraine. No, he's not giving you. Even if he gives them some Patriots, they're talking about 10, 20. They're talking about such a measly amount of
Right.
that it wouldn't put even a dent in this thing. This whole
It's 30
thing,
in Poland, right?
right?
30.
Exactly. Thank you.
They could
This
use
whole,
that in an evening.
in the evening. This whole thing is a disguise to keep the eye on the ball, to distract, divert, because at the end of the day, the one thing that Hegseth gives him that that he'll never get anywhere is the pure loyalty. He knows Hegseth's a bumbling
Mm.
fool. He knows Hegseth has all his issues, but Hegseth got confirmed. Hegseth is already in. He
Every
doesn't know.
single one of them, other than Matt Gaetz, so far has gotten
But
confirmed.
you're
It
right
has
now, but
nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that he's
Michael.
of
That's the
Congress.
key, because Michael, but that's the key. He's confirmed today before Donald Trump took a hit with the big, beautiful bill that he had pushed through. Before Donald Trump took a hit with the Epstein list and all of that. With all of this going on, there's no guarantee that he'll have the same loyalty in the Senate to confirm another loyalist like Hegseth for a position he doesn't belong in. Because Hegseth doesn't belong in that position.
Let me be crystal clear about something. You, me, Malcolm, if Trump put us up tomorrow for Secretary of Defense, all three of us would end up being confirmed. All right? It has nothing to do. It certainly has nothing to do with their credentials. There is no meritocracy in this. And let me tell you why I turn around and I say why Pete Hegseth just lit the fuse on his own political self-destruction. Because, look, I know Trump very well. All right? Hegseth crossed the line. Again, not in a policy way, not in some debate over strategy or logistics way. No. Hegseth's sin is far worse in Trump world. He acted without asking. How many times have you seen someone get their ass handed to them for not asking? All right. And in doing so, he made Trump look small. He made him look uninformed. And worst of all, he made him look weak. For God's sake, I personally have watched Trump cut people for much less than that. Much less.
I'll tell you guys.
Yeah,
you
but
hear,
Pete
you
Hegseth,
hear
though.
me here first. That if Pete
Okay,
Hegseth
go on.
goes, I'll just quickly. If Pete Hegseth gets I'll be the first here to apologize to all of you, to Michael, to Malcolm, and say I was wrong. But I will say this: I will bet a lot more, from what I know, that he's not going anywhere. So time will tell.
Like, here's why I'm not sure he's going to go, and that he's going to get a fourth and a fifth and a sixth chance. Hegseth is a cartoon character, right? Of what Trump thinks a strong military guy who's respected by the military, does PT with the SEALs in the morning and special forces at night. He's a cartoon character. And Trump doesn't care about what happens inside the Pentagon. He doesn't care about what weapon systems are used. Pete Hegseth is the guy who supposedly answers the phone and does what Trump wants done with the Department of Defense, like the attack on Iran, right? Which all these other little flubs and fuck-ups, Hegseth looks like the part that Trump thinks a Secretary of Defense is.
Right.
You and I both know.
And how easy, but Malcolm, how easy
Yeah.
to find the next individual to cosplay the Secretary of Defense. He could start trotting out somebody with military medals all over their chests in order to cosplay the role.
Yeah, that's what it
not
is.
the one and only.
But I mean, look, you already had, what's his name, Waltz, who was his national security advisor. That guy's a former special forces officer, colonel. I mean, if you want characters to pick that role, yeah, you're right. But like Lev says, you're right. If he picked me for Secretary of Defense, yeah, I would get confirmed the next day. And within that hour, I'd be throwing a coup d'etat against the United States government.
By the way, if they nominated
Defense,
me,
right?
could you
Saving
imagine?
the Constitution.
If they nominated me, I would get confirmed too. Let me be very clear about that. There is not a Republican out there. You start listening to guys like
Look, Cohen for president. Cohen for president. Look at that. They want
right.
Somebody said Cohen for president.
So take a guy like Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis turned around and said, I think what Hegseth did was wrong. I would never vote for him. You did vote for him, right? You asked him questions at the time. You threw him these meatball questions. It's like, instead of asking him, how would you balance out the ... Instead, he threw him out. He goes, and how was your lunch today? And he goes, I'm glad you asked me that very important question, because the defense cafeteria, which has a bigger budget, by the way, than FEMA, because we're going to get to FEMA too, right? The defense budget on food, on meals, is bigger than that of FEMA. All right. So when I turn around and I say, Hegseth is in trouble, let's just wait to see. Right now, the one thing that we know is that when we watched Trump do it during his first administration, right? When you need people like J.D. Vance or his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, to step in and help clean up the mess, you know that you fucked up.
Wow.
Am I wrong?
I mean,
no. I mean, I don't have a dog in this fight, but other than the fact that I want Hegseth completely out of there.
I would like him to go out also.
I need to know this from your sources. Somebody out there is going to fucking talk. Is that motherfucker been drinking since January?
100%. What do you mean?
Don't say 100%. Don't say 100%. You don't know.
99.
Michael's a lawyer. 99%. I agree.
So let's just turn around and say that his behavior on a multitude of occasions has been significantly described as erratic. All right? And it is possible to deduce that the erratic behavior is a direct result of alcohol, not water, alcohol. All right. And I just want to finish by saying one last thing. Trump may not fire him today. He may not even do it tomorrow. But I promise you, the countdown has begun. And remember that it always starts exactly the same. We saw this before. There's the loyalty statement. I'm standing by Pete. You got the whispers of chaos going on in the other ear. You got the faint sounds of the knives all being sharpened. And then next thing you know, Hegseth finds himself alone, wondering what the fuck just happened, right? As Trump writes on his Truth Social and says something like this. Pete was a good man, but he went rogue. All right.
Yeah, he walks into an empty room with plastic on the floor.
Wearing his best suit and tie.
Exactly. Look, let's remember the same exact shit as I described. It happened to Rex Tillerson. It happened to Bolton. It happened to Mattis. It happened to Jeff Sessions. It happened to Reince Priebus. Dude, it happened to me. So
No, but,
Is he
but
going
these
to?
are they're all
Is he going
different
to get
people.
the honorable exit? Is he going to get the honorable exit where he says he has served this country? I look forward to him getting the treatment that he needs. And
yes,
Hegseth coming out and going, although I was here for my warriors, my family is first, and blah blah blah.
it'll be on a Truth Social post.
Listen,
Yeah,
I love you guys. I love you guys, but
I don't know. You're going to tell us.
I can't go down with this one. He's not going anywhere. So he's not going
this week.
I know. He's not Tillerson. He's not Sessions, and he's not you, Michael. He is a loyalist of loyalists that came in there. I mean, even the people that he put in there that are working, that are doing things like Malcolm said, 100%. I mean, he's no normal person would go in there and do everything Donald Trump said. This guy is a Matt Gates, even maybe even worse, because he cleans up a lot better. And
serious question. You guys told me before Trump has it in for people that drink. If this actually comes to him seriously, like Susie Wiles going, "Hey, this guy's drinking," right? Is that a deal breaker for Trump?
No,
of course it's a deal breaker. He has a fundamental disdain for alcohol. He just
not drugs, just alcohol.
Well, alcohol and drugs. The whole bit.
They all drink. Susie Wiles drinks. They all drink. Stop.
No,
guys.
he means alcohol.
I'm talking about the point of drinking, like the way Pete Hegseth was described as drinking. What you do on your own time, that Trump doesn't care. But when you start doing it and it affects the job, it affects your decision making, and you put Trump in the crosshair.
Yes,
that doesn't bode well.
If he's gonna if he's drinking on the job or in the Pentagon and all of that, yes.
I thought you guys said I thought you just
drinking.
Let's just all acknowledge, take a step back, and I want everybody here to acknowledge that Lev will soon be apologizing. Now, moving on.
Wait, real quick. I want to say this. I'm going to make a prediction as to where the alcohol break comes from. Hegseth likes to go out and do PT every morning with these special forces units. We all know, or guys like me who have been around these people know, that's where you work off your alcohol from the night before. When your body stinks, you can feel it come off the pores. And somebody's going to go, "Hey, that fucker was sweating whiskey last night." And it's going to come from a credible, like, special forces officer or SEAL platoon leader or somebody. And that, I think, will be the knife for Trump. You think?
Yeah. Look, whatever it's going to take, all it really is going to take is the right person whispering into Trump's ear, saying that
who's that person?
Drunk, he's making bad moves, bad decisions, and it's fucking toast. All right.
Who's that person?
I watched Trump, just so you understand that this man doesn't fucking play. He does not play the game. I watched him fire a guy at the Trump organization for improperly ordering a chandelier and paper clips. So before we actually start getting into the reality of Pete Hegseth is just another cog in the wheel. There are many more people that are willing to do what Pete Hegseth is doing. Look, somebody brought up also, look at what he did to Scaramucci. I mean, we can go on and on. Look at what he did. What about Mike Flynn? I mean, we can just go on and on and on about all of these.
But the biggest thing, Michael, and that's why I got to push back at you. You're comparing Trump 1.0 to 2.0. You're comparing people that were in with Trump that had nowhere near the same loyalty that he has people in right now. You're comparing people, besides you, maybe you're the only one that was willing to take a bullet for him. But I'm just saying to you, nobody else was there. Scaramucci and all of these, General Flynn, all of these people that you're talking about.
How long do you think that Trump even knows Pete Hegseth? How long do you actually think that he knows Pete Hegseth?
How long or how well?
Yeah, how long do you think?
8 years? 8 years?
Huh?
8
No,
years, 7 years.
No,
no,
no, watching him
no,
on TV.
no. He saw him on television.
Right.
Maybe he
Right.
knew him for during maybe 4 to 6 months before the campaign started. He's not a long timer like
It's not
Sean
a no.
Hannity.
But see, no. It's not about long timer. That's not what I'm talking about. See, that's the difference. That's what I'm saying to you. Long timer doesn't mean that loyal to the bone to do whatever he wants to do. Pete Hegseth, yeah, is willing to do things that even you wouldn't do, Michael, because he's with these the people he has there loyalists are people that are willing to cross the line, go against the
That's
Constitution,
true. That's
disregard
true.
anything
So,
that's said.
so Hegseth is technically a doorman,
Correct.
right?
I don't
He's
know.
going
I
to
don't know
hold
how
the
else you
door
describe
open.
it. So, okay, let's just move on for a sec,
All right, all right.
because I don't want to run out of time on it. Talking about another sort of doormat, you got Christi Noem, right? Puppy killer Barbie, who
Oh,
goes ahead now.
Jesus.
Imagine this, Malcolm. I want to get your take on this.
Oh, jeez.
Could
Yeah.
you imagine that any expenditure greater than $100,000 needs to be reviewed and approved by Christi Noem, especially when you're dealing with a scenario like the tragic flood in Texas? How does something like that even work?
Well, first off, this is where I think that Christi Noem gets her second strike. I mean, she does a great job for Trump being the cartoon character. Do you notice we keep saying they're cartoon characters? I don't know who it was that said, might have been Joy Reid, who said these people would have been great spokesmen for the secretaries of these agencies, but they should never have been put in charge of these agencies, right? And they would have, if they had chosen better, more qualified people, these people would have been great spokespersons. Pete Hegseth, Secretary Christi Noem. But she has now screwed up with this whole, not just the I require $100,000 and sitting on it for 3 days. People died for 3 days before she would authorize anyone in FEMA to respond or these emergency crews, which any secretary before that would have made an announcement within the hour that they are mobilizing all national assets to go down there and would have looked like a fucking hero, right? These people are so against FEMA. They think that FEMA's response in North Carolina, which was admirable, right? And a bunch of anecdotes from Western North Carolina made them feel that they could destroy the entire organization and get votes out of it. Now they have what's pushed 100 dead and dozens of children dead. And I don't think, Noem's going to have to do some serious tap dancing here. Because her little response yesterday, where she was pulling off the contrite act of God, we tried everything. And now all you're going to hear is she wouldn't even get up out of her fucking bed on the weekend to sign off on shit that would have saved people's lives. And I don't know. You guys tell me whether she's done.
Well,
But
the spin, Malcolm, that they're putting on it now, which Christi Noem has been going all over, of course, state-run media news,
with
Fox.
her
All right,
hair.
the line of bullshit that they're trying to feed to the American people is that in order to cut out fraud, waste, and abuse, which there's just too much
Right.
of, we need to turn FEMA over to the individual states. Mind you, you
Right.
then get this member of Congress who comes on, the one from North Carolina, who turns around and says, "But we're not capable of handling it." I think the better answer that he should have made is that, just so you understand, Miss Secretary, FEMA, the first letter in the acronym, starts for federal.
Federal.
This
Right.
this is not a state issue, So sometimes, how does the state, which has limited resources, prepare for what they'll say is once in a 100-year rainfall, because you don't necessarily know the route? But here you're going to cut out NOAA, you're going to cut out NWS, None of this makes any sense at all. It's basically, as you just said, it's the stupid minding the shop.
Yep. And you know what? Someone's going to catch her. You mark my words. Somebody's going to be sharp enough at some town hall or something to go, bitch, you failed your only job. You failed. And she's going to go make up some blah, blah, blah excuse. And that's going to be the moment that, Trump sees her as a loser. I don't know about Trump. Trump's the fucking loser. He's the one that ordered every aspect of climate to be removed from the government. And when this I understand is his vendetta over the Alabama black marker thing during that hurricane in Florida, that the National Weather Service and NOAA came back and goes, no, those states aren't suffering an emergency. They're not going to be affected by the hurricane. And now it's like, get fucking rid of those offices. This is Ari Trump. I put this on Twitter. He killed those children with his fucking, not just the decisions, but the mindset for everyone to go to fucking hell, over weather. It's not real. It doesn't exist. Windmills cause cancer and are killing fucking whales. This should be the moment you would think that we can say this man's a fucking blithering idiot. But nope. So long as his people buy it and that it's Joe Biden's fault. I literally was in a debate yesterday. Somebody said it was Joe Biden's fault. And then they told me it was 2019. I go, Trump was fucking president. They will never fault him for this shit.
And Lev?
I mean, dude, first of all, it's very upsetting, what's happening in Texas, because I have so many kids myself, and just imagining, sending your kids. We spoke about this, Michael, on one of your shows before, sending the kids there and not to have sirens alarm. This is 2025, folks. I mean, to be able, we're sitting here talking about cutting things, firing people. We should be talking about putting money in our infrastructure. I mean, if you're taking so much money off the table, we should be able to be safe, to be able to be safe around places like this and have, bright bridges and normal airports and normal alarm systems and normal, to be able, and we don't have that. And I mean, as far as Christi Noem, what can I say, guys? I mean, she's no different than any one of his other enablers in there, that is just like you guys said, cartoon characters. They fit the role. The difference between these cartoon characters to the ones before he would try to fit the role, but at least those cartoon characters all had their own brains. They all had their own way of trying, and that's why he ended up firing them. They would get, these people are all yes men. These are the Rudy Giuliani 2.0s, where they'll take, if Trump says, I want to take over Greenland, they'll jump over each other to give him a crazy idea of how to go and do it. These are not people that are going to stand there and say, no, it's a bad idea. So they're all in on this one, I say. So
yeah, Mike, real quick, because I gotta jump off here because
before you go,
to cross the international border. But I wanted to ask, are we going to talk about Epstein real quick?
In 2 seconds.
I gotta say something before you go. I gotta say something also. Go ahead.
But Lev brought something up which I just want to expand on, and that was the whole issue about it's 2025 and the government has an obligation to do things in order to protect human life. All right. I wrote yesterday in my Substack, which I called "When the System Drowns Its People," and this really upset me, fucked me up. I've been up since 2:00 in the morning. I can't stop watching it. As somebody, and Lev was expressing, he's got 12.5 kids like Elon Musk, and I have my two, but I went to summer camps as a young child, along with my siblings and so on. I'm going to tell you the thing that bothers me even more. What adds insult to injury? The state of Texas is sitting on a rainy day fund. It's actually in their budget as called the rainy day fund. You have any idea how much money is in that rainy day fund? $30 billion. The state of Texas is sitting on $30 billion, not a metaphor, literal pile of untouched cash that could have paid for the sirens if government wasn't doing it. Where the fuck do they think they got that money from? From state taxes. They could have used it to buy sirens. They could have used it to buy early warning systems. They could have used it to fix elevated infrastructure or create elevated infrastructure. They could have used it for floodplain mapping. And they could have used it even for staffing to support all of this. Instead, that fucking money is sitting in a bank account while children drown in their camp bunks. All right? That to me is the part that I can't get off my chest.
I don't know if you saw the video of the two girls from the night before, of the two girls who both drowned in a horrible, horrific way. Their building floated away and then was crushed. It's horrible and horrific. Our job is to protect our kids. But we won't do it with a school shooting when 24 of them are shot to death. We won't do it when guys go into malls and shoot people. We have this, we don't care about our children attitude, but then they'll come out and say, oh, but we're pro-life. This is it. This should be it. Right? You didn't care about Uvalde. You didn't care about Sandy Hook. But now children, they're going around with the act of God. There's nothing we can do. All we can do is pray. Yeah,
they only care about the kids.
They
only care about the kids when they're in utero. The second that they're out, fuck you, your problem.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Terrible.
Listen, before you go, Michael.
Yeah.
I want to share something that literally like 30 minutes before we started the show, I got an email and then a phone call, and I want to share it with our family. I mean, I'm a little bit.
Here it comes.
No. This is something personal. I'm like,
okay.
I'm extremely. It's incredible. So I want to read it. It's a letter. It says, dear Mr. Parnas, we would like to have the honor of you July 30th at the Washington, D.C. press conference, where we will be awarding the prestigious Pillar Award to Senator Tom Tillis, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, Lev Parnas, and Jerry Ashton for their extraordinary political courage. Telling the truth is a thankless task. Many people face some form of retaliation as a result. While we cannot undo the harm whistleblowers face, we do intend to bring awareness to the good that comes from their courage. Truth tellers deserve recognition, and we use the prestigious Pillar Award to recognize their exceptional bravery. And the first Pillar Award was named for Frank Pillar, after a security guard who foiled the break-in at the National Democratic National Committee in Washington, D.C. at the Watergate Hotel.
The Watergate guard.
The Watergate guard. So,
congratulations.
It's the guy Forrest Gump called.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
Malcolm, you had a final topic you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, because I got to cross a border. So this whole thing with Elon Musk and Trump and Epstein files, is it real? I mean, these are the people who, they have no problem putting hundreds upon hundreds of children under the age of 15 in jails and letting them take care of themselves in dirty, infested cages. They have no problem with the secret police, 20,000 secret police, probably tripling in size, and going around and snatching American citizens off the streets with masks, right? And any brown person in America. They have no problem with taking the food literally out of the mouths of 17 million children. But they got a problem with the Epstein list? Really? Because it's pedophiles? Really? I think it's because they're upset that they're not going to get to see what they think is Hillary Clinton's name and Joe Biden's name and Bill Clinton. It has nothing to do with Trump. It's their rage in not being able to find all these Democrats who are supposedly Epstein clients.
Malcolm, and it's not what they think, it's what was told to them, and what was embedded in their heads by not only Donald Trump, but by Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, Alina, all of these people for years have been making so much money on their podcasts and everything, just talking about how the Epstein files are connected to the deep state, connected to the Clintons, connected into the
Right.
child trafficking. That's where Q got all of that. Remember Q,
Right.
QAnon, that came up.
Right.
That is why it was in bed. That's why the mega cult. See, this is what it's interesting. I'm glad you asked this because it's not Republicans that I want the Epstein files that are pissed at Trump. It's not independents. It's not everybody that voted for him. This is purely the mega cult. This is
Mhm.
the one thing, and even this, they're trying to somehow blame Pam Bondi. They're trying to find a scapegoat, anybody, not to give it to Trump. But even they know, because I've been on these spaces every day, and they're pledging big, hardcore mega accounts are pledging to, until Trump comes out and gives them some sort of an excuse or shows them the list, they're going to, till the midterms, they're going to go against Trump and against mega. These are
No, they're
hardcore
not.
big mega accounts.
No, they're not. This is a cult. They won't go against it. Some issue will come up where he can attack Joe Biden and blame the liberals, and they will all fold right back over.
Mhm.
Well,
I don't
that's
think
gonna be
this is
interesting, yeah.
existential. Michael, do you think this shit's existential?
No.
No, it's all fucking
I mean,
ass.
I personally think a lot of people are interested in seeing the lists in order to appeal to their prurient interests because it's so fucking disgusting on so many levels. You know, there's child sex trafficking. It's so disgusting, right? But it's almost like a car crash. You know, why do you have, gridlock? Well, everybody has to slow down because what are you looking for? You're looking for the smashed windshield, the exploded out airbags, and blood on the windshield. Everybody
Right.
wants to see the damage. That's what they're waiting for here.
No,
But Lev is right. They promised it. And Pam Bondi's sort of Porky Pig style response of beep, 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 that's not suffice to MAGA. But I want to be clear on something. And I get a lot of shit for this, and I don't care because, like
Okay.
Lev, I have spoken truth to power across the board. And if what I say doesn't appeal to what you want it to say, I'm terribly sorry. But here's the reality. I know Trump since 2005. Close, like this. Okay?
Mhm.
Let me be clear. In the tenure, my decade and a half of being around Trump, never once did we discuss the name Jeffrey Epstein. Never once
Ooh.
did Jeffrey Epstein call the office that I'm aware of. Never once did Trump go out for a dinner or have Jeffrey Epstein in the office. Not once. And so when they keep wanting to talk about this list and Trump is on it, yeah, Trump was on his plane. I want people to remember the time period that these photos are, and the photos don't lie, are early 90s, like 1992. I was just admitted to the bar in 92. I came back to New York in 91, took the bar, and then was admitted in 1992. All right. I wasn't affiliated with Trump. I can't comment about that time period, but for the decade and a half that I was around the man, I never heard Jeffrey Epstein on a phone, and I would have
Michael,
because I was there so often.
when did they have the fallout? When did they have the fallout? Then they break up. They were close for a while, and then they were maybe.
I believe it was in the 90s, or maybe the year
That's. I
2000.
think.
Okay.
I think all. Yeah, I think it was way before your time and all of this.
One last question: Is he going to entertain, or is he going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell?
That would be fucked up.
You know, let me be clear
A
about
lot
that.
of fucked up has been flying
So-
here. Why would this be
So
any
I
more
think
fucked
the
up?
answer, I would say the answer to that is no, for really two reasons. One, it doesn't benefit him. And two, very much like with the January 6th insurrectionists, if he wanted to do it, he would have already done it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, guys, just on the Epstein stuff, before we go, today I have a special at 7 p.m. live. I don't know if you guys know Zev Chavel.
Yeah.
Shalev. So Zev put out a Epstein 6-part some kind of documentary 6 years ago while Epstein was still alive, and today he said he's going to break some stuff on the show live. So definitely join. Well, interesting to hear his take. He's coming from the standpoint not of the sexual but the business stuff, because there's two sides of the Epstein stuff. Yes, there was a lot of the sexual perverted child trafficking, but also don't forget of all the speculation that Epstein worked for Israel. They did a lot of some bad shit, supposedly blackmailing, in which Pam Bondi said lots of video, thousands and thousands of video. So again, the list is just the list, but it's supposed to be a combination of information that supposedly, he's going to break down today. So you definitely, for those of you that are interested and want to hear more, 7 p.m., definitely come join us.
Pam Bondi says nothing to see here. It's all finished.
And by the way, they're going to put an end to it right off the bat, at least for the next 3.5 years. Even assuming hypothetically, the Democrats, assuming we take the House and the Senate, that would be the only way that this thing has any chance of ever coming back to life.
We have another election. All right.
I was just about to say.
You guys finish up. I got to take off. I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Malcolm, drive
driving across the border, Malcolm.
I do. Bye. I'll watch you tonight.
Lev, let me let you take us out.
Listen, guys, I want to first of all thank every one of you. We have about 1,700, 1,800 people watching. Michael says it all the time, and I agree with him 100%. We should have at least 16,000, 100,000. I mean, we're saying numbers, but the numbers should be a lot bigger. We should be growing the community a lot more and a lot quicker with all the stuff that's happening, with all the information that we're breaking, especially when it comes to us. I mean, there's nobody on this platform. There's nobody out there on any platform in the media that knows Donald Trump like Michael knows him. As long as Michael knows him, like I know him, like Malcolm, a spy, 40 years serving our country, the information that we're bringing to you, and even sometimes you could see we could agree, we could disagree, we could bring, because this is the whole key, but we're we're on the same side. We're fighting to save our democracy. And the only way that we could save our democracy is if each and every one of you become our megaphones, become our extension to our voices. Go out there, spread the word. That's the number one thing we ask each and every one of you to do, is to go out there and spread the word. Bring 3-4 more people to this platform. Just think about it. If you went out there and spoke to your friends and colleagues and told them, send them, take that little box there with that arrow that Michael talks about, and just spam, blast it to all of your contacts on your phone, because the more people need to hear the truth, the more people, because it's not just about our platform, but it's taking the message and then spreading it to the congressmen, to the senators. Like Michael said, the only chance we have is getting our Congress and Senate back to rein him in, and that's why we need you now more than ever. And for those of you that we see you that are paid subscribers and contribute, God bless you and thank you. We see you, we watch you, we see you out there joining in. For those of you that are new to our family, welcome. And for those of you that are thinking, standing on the sideline, make sure now is the time. Subscribe. Subscribing is for free. None of us have paywalls. We do this because we have a strong group of paid subscribers, people out there that are doing their job, that are out there constantly doing it, so we are able to not have paywalls, that we're able to put this information out. So each and every one of you could do something. Doing nothing is not an objective.
Nope, it's not an option. So with that, let me just say thank you again. Congratulations to Lev for this upcoming award. Certainly well deserved, that's for sure.
Thank you, brother.
And to the group that's with us, thank you. I'm not going to repeat what Lev just said. I feel exactly the same way. Appreciate having each and every one of you in our lives. And most importantly, share. Just share this. Let's have 5,000 people. That'll be our target goal. I always say 50,000, 100,000. Let's get 5,000.
That's a good one, Michael. Let's start off. Let's get 5,000, and then we'll go to the next one. Let's get to 5,000. That's a good one.
Amen to
We're
that.
almost there.
Thank you all. Have a great one, and we will see you next week. Unless, of course, Lev and I just jump on as we do all the time, because either we're on the telephone talking about some breaking news that I heard or he heard. We immediately come on. And again, we'll pull up a couple thousand people on those as well. So 5,000 for next week. Help us to make it happen. And thank you again.
God bless you guys. Take care, brother.
Later, pal.